Over the last couple of years, there really has been an explosion of the use of AI and the music industry, as well as many other sectors that have been heavily impacted by this. Of course, with the introduction of some positive changes around how we indulge, how we express our musical passions. However, wider use of AI has also led to some fundamental questions around the precise nature. So the fight over AI and music rights, it continues. And perhaps to discuss the legal implications of this, we're going to be joined by Rebaone Pule, candidate attorney at Xuba and Associates Attorneys Inc, to weigh in further. Good morning. Thank you for your time. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Good morning. Thank you so much for the wonderful introduction. I'm really looking forward to our discussion today, and good morning to the viewers at home as well. Hopefully, we can take away one or two things.
As we're speaking, the rate of change that is happening, it's actually scary. So if we try to contextualize this chat and look at the implications, particularly in South Africa, let's hone in on the Copyright Act 78 of 1978. Tell us a little bit more about what that framework entails, its relevance as well as we navigate these unprecedented times.
I think one thing we must consider as well is when this legislation was enacted. We're talking about 1978. Since then, there's been so many developments, especially with the rapid rise of AI. I mean, AI is not at a stage where it's experimental. Like currently right now, we have productions, we have music, we have art, we have in the education sector, AI has risen prominently. So that Copyright Act, it doesn't really regulate, it doesn't really offer the intellectual property protections that it's supposed to, that it was actually enacted to. The purpose has changed. So this is a clarion call to all our legislators that really needs to be looked into.
Okay, so let's get into that, because now the use of AI and in terms of the originality of the content as well, tell us a little bit more about how AI is actually interpreted when it comes to the law and its usage as well.
So you touched on a key concept called originality. So basically, if I create a creative work, I am by law already protected under copyright. So if AI creates a copyrighted production, do we offer the same protection? We can't, because when we look at a test of originality, the key things to consider is that did you apply enough skill? Did you apply enough judgment? Did you apply enough labor? Entering a prompt and getting a production, entering a prompt and getting a song, a piece of art, is that enough labor? That is the real question, and it's not regulated currently.
So the thing is the neutrality of all of this as well, technologically. Tell us a little bit more about where South Africa sits in the greater scheme of things, because we're obviously also looking at payouts and sort of how there's a lack on some fronts in that, you know, with regards to some content that's created, not enough resources as well. Tell us a little bit more about what we're experiencing on that front.
It's exactly that. We are currently behind. Even when you speak of payouts, our banking industry as well, they are prominently using AI, especially in sectors where we are asking them to compile reports. We're asking them, they are automatic interest rates given to clients based on AI. So who will be held liable? The question is liability. If AI was to make a mistake, if AI was to be negligent, do we hold the bank liable or do we hold the AI platform itself liable? And our regulation does not speak to that at all.
Okay, so when we've got common law protections and commonality as well. Why am I bringing this to the conversation? Because replication is now also happening. So this is now to your point about that. So if AI is going to use your voice or your talent, and this is what a lot of us in the industry obviously also face beyond music. Who is how liable? Who takes ownership? Where does this all come into effect, especially when looking at registrations or lack thereof?
So here we're raising a concept of authorship. So according to our current law in South Africa, our law was made for people. It was not made for machines.
Gotcha.
So if we're giving authorship to someone, you and I sitting here, we're human beings. By nature of that, we have legal status. We have authorship. This news channel is a juristic person. By nature of that, associations and businesses have authorship. But our law does not accommodate AI platforms. AI platforms do not have authorship. So we can't really grant them the rights to do that. And you raise a point of replication. A lot of people's voices, a lot of people's arts, they are commercial property. It's being replicated. And if there's no recourse for that, currently our artists, our actors, everyone who faces this risk they have no recourse, they have no remedies available to them whatsoever under the current law.
So when we look at remedies or incentives, should the AI companies be paying a licensing fee, or I mean, how do we mitigate against this, especially because of the rate of change that's happening and proving that, right? I can imagine the legal battle outplaying the work that's being replicated so quickly.
You know, one thing I've always said is that success leaves clues. So it's very important for us to look at other sectors who are successful in this. I mean, in the US, there are 3 things that have helped so many artists who are facing this trouble. Firstly, we have to obtain consent from the original creative art producer. We have to obtain consent. Secondly, there are licensing fees that could be paid. These AI companies must ensure that whatever information they are using to train their platforms, they obtain licensing fees from the original artists and a share in profits. I don't think it's commercially viable. I don't think it is commercially fair for you to profit off of someone else's voice, someone else's work, someone else's original ideas.
Yeah, because we have to look at that ecosystem and coexisting now with AI and this world. What's your parting shot as we conclude?
Exactly that, coexisting. You know,
Okay.
AI is here. It's here to stay. And most people have a fear that it's going to replace us. But I've always said human intelligence will always precede artificial intelligence. Human intelligence has emotion. Artificial intelligence does not have consciousness. We have to find a way to integrate it. You know, AI will not replace us, but those who do know how to use AI will replace those who don't.
Okay, Rebaone, I'm going to have to leave the conversation there, but it continues, obviously, given the copyright foundations, the music industry, have been shaken by the rise of AI, but we're looking at how we can coexist together. And Rebaone Pule, candidate attorney at Xuba Associates Attorneys Inc, joined us to really unpack the nitty-gritties of what's transpiring in real time as we try to keep up with that rate of change.